guarantee. Eric?
Mike, time to make history.
Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
We recommend listening to the CW Pod with a glass of Steeple Ridge Bourbon. Grown, distilled, well-rested, and bottled in Erling, Iowa. Now from the Channel Seed Studios, this is the CW Pod, fueled by Steeple Ridge.
Cool show today, catching up with a guy who known a long time, don't know him well, but I've interviewed him a bunch over the years when he was with the Iowa Energy. Nick Nurse, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's also former NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors. So that's cool. Going to talk to him about Georges Niang getting traded, among many other things. We both come from the same area of the state, so this was fun. This was a fun interview. I hope you guys enjoy it. He's in town for the Nick Nurse Foundation. Well, not in town, he's in Carroll, his hometown of Carroll. This weekend they're having a big event, and I want you to check out the Nick Nurse Foundation. You can give, even if you're not going to the event, but it's cool. It's like a music festival. They play golf. Really glad that he's back in the state of Iowa doing stuff like this, which is awesome. So thanks to Coach for joining me. And then after that, I want to talk a little bit today. ESPN has made a couple of big moves media-wise. We do a lot of sports business on this show, and I want to talk about what that means. Before I get into all of this, I want to thank our friends at Steeple Ridge. I'm going to Ireland next week, and I won't have any of my Steeple Ridge. And I'm sorry, Bushmills and Jameson. I'm sure your stuff's really good. It ain't what Pat Hoffman makes and puts in the bottle in Erling, Iowa. It's not. I promise you it's not. If I could, I would smuggle Steeple Ridge in my backpack and take it with me to Ireland. But I'm not going to do that because that's against the law. And I don't want to get arrested. Wonder what an Irish jail is like. Nick Nurse, the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's have this conversation. It's so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy it right here on CW Pod. Well, Coach Nick Nurse joins me, and we were just catching up, and I said, this is one of those deals where I'm like, we just need to roll because this is good stuff. So a Hawkeye 10 Southwest Iowa boy to another. Yeah. He's in Carroll. Coach, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me. Doing great. Very, very busy week here in Carroll with all the events we got going on, but we're excited to be here. Been here a few days, and always nice to come home.
Well, I kind of filled everybody in on my intro about what you're doing back and how we can help raise money and do all this stuff. But I think it's awesome that you're just an Iowa guy. I've been in media a long time, so I followed you at Energy and all the great things that you did there, and it's fun. So I'm an Iowa State guy, and you were part of our staff for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 3 days. 3 days. Yeah,
I'm pretty familiar, but no,
man, isn't that funny? A lot of things that twists and turns, and
I was so excited when you were on that job. And then everything blew up.
I actually was there one day, and then literally the next day I flew to Europe to start recruiting. I think that was a Friday, and late Sunday night I was actually went to a bunch of basketball tournaments in England, and a couple of kids that I knew that were going to be, pretty highly recruited. And I was getting ready to go to Greece to find another kid, and Coach Mack called up and said, I'm going to Creighton. And I was like, what? Oh, holy smokes. Let me get on a plane and get home. So
what a weird
short-lived cyclone, but
You guys have a weird profession like that. Like I couldn't do it. I admire you guys, especially like your wives and families and stuff that because that stuff can just happen out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's a lot of bouncing around. I mean, you obviously probably seen my resume or not my resume, but at least my stops along the way. And it, there's a lot of places, a lot of countries, a lot of small towns, a lot of growing in those years, a lot of bouncing around. I was lucky though. I spent 10 years in Toronto, which is pretty amazing in the NBA to get us, stop 10 years in one place. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm a coach, so I'm super biased. I don't like how the coaching turnover seems to be the thing to do. It's like that's always the solution, is to change the coaching staff out, which I don't necessarily agree with, but obviously I'm a coach, so that's it.
Yeah, you guys are often the scapegoats for much bigger situations. I felt that way about my guy Freddie Hoiberg. I was a Bulls fan. Yeah. When this is tough, but
yeah.
What keeps you coming back, I guess?
Well, I've come from a large family here. So used to come back a lot. But especially when my parents were both alive, would spend at least 3 full weeks back at home. I'd always, as soon as the season ended, I'd come for a week, then come for a week over the 4th of July, then do the Labor Day. And then usually it was time to get back to work. But now the golf course here, formerly known as the Carroll Country Club, was about ready to go away after about 100 years. And they called me up and see if we could come up with some kind of plan to try to keep it going. So that's what we did. We worked out a deal, and that's what gets me back now, is we've revived it. We've put water back in the ponds and cut the grass and, redid the clubhouse and all that kind of stuff. So we've got it going again, got a big junior program, got a lot more families involved. I think it's, for me, it was always a place I'd come home and I wouldn't be home 10 minutes and me and my dad would be out here golfing. There's always a great family and friends connector, and I wanted to keep it going. So that's what we're doing.
The Nick Nurse Foundation, give me some background on.
Yeah, so it started in 2019 after we won the title in Toronto. I figured, geez, we've been blessed here with probably a little bit of a platform, where we could get out and make a difference and have a reach. And I love music, and we kind of started it with a evening of music, we called. I think we had 4 bands in the first night, Canadian bands, and kind of just stemmed from there. Did most of the work in Toronto when I was there, and then when that change to Philly happened, I wanted to keep the foundation going, and now we're kind of shifting everything to Carroll and to Iowa. Do a little work around Philly as well, but mostly here. And we just 3 things that I really like or really believe in: education, and reading. That's one segment of it. Sports, of course, because that's kind of our vehicle for things, and then music. And it seems to me that a lot of these music programs need a lot of help. They're the first ones in line for budget cuts, it always seems like. Yeah, so
the arts are in general.
So just tried to give the marching bands some money, get those revived and going, and grow those numbers here in town. Just restarted the music program at New Hope Village. We put some musical instruments in at Kellen's Kingdom. We backed Broken Strings, which is every elementary school in the state of Iowa gets a guitar put in it, among other things. I started the Wayne Chanley, my high school coach, scholarship fund at Kemper. So lots of little things, but all we think important, and we love kind of combining a lot of fun with it. Golf, music, raise money, help kids.
Theater was huge for me. Yeah. I wouldn't be a broadcaster if it weren't for speech class and theater.
Man, I hear you.
It started that, like, I actually, coach had a really bad shoulder injury and couldn't play basketball one year. And theater instructor reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should try out for the play." And it changed my life. It changed the entire trajectory of my life.
That's another thing we have in common. I was in Oklahoma my senior year in high school here, and I get reminded of that quite a bit.
Heck yeah.
I would say just as well, another thing that we have in common, I give that advice a lot to kids when they're saying, give me some advice on things to do. I did too. I took a lot of speech classes. I took a lot of them in high school and a lot of them in college, which I think ends up being really useful in your life. Obviously, you chose a profession, and I get in front of the media a lot, and
Absolutely.
I think it's great way for boost some confidence, boost some self-esteem, and very beneficial a lot of areas of life.
Where did your love of music start from?
Well, probably I want to say my mom's side of the family. She had a very musical side of the family. She kind of one of those deals where we all had to play something growing up a little bit. A number of my brothers and sisters were in the Kemper marching band. That probably started it. But then I don't know, I just love music, started going to concerts, when I was 17, 18. It's pretty good. I took the Greyhound bus up to Minneapolis to see the Purple Rain tour in 84.
Oh, nice.
Became a big fan. I drove over to Sioux City, bringing a full circle one, and I saw the outfield open up for Jefferson Starship, and they're coming Friday night. So 40 years ago this summer I saw them, and now I'm going to see them again. So just love music and want to make it available for everybody. It's something a big hobby of mine. I play both the guitar and the piano just as a stress relieving something to do hobby, and I really love it and want to try to put some instruments in kids' hands and let them have that same joy and experience.
I know a lot of basketball coaches, Mac being one of them, is a good buddy, and he's a golfer.
Yeah.
And then I have, and Freddie was a golfer, and but then Otts is not a golfer.
Yeah.
Are you because it feels like you guys are either obsessed with it and it's all you do in your free time, or you don't touch a club.
So I grew up playing, and I took it pretty seriously till probably about 15 or 16. That's a nice thing to have in your as a kid, because I normally play in events like this, scrambles and stuff now.
Yeah, and you don't want to suck when you're the celebrity. Yeah.
Just got to get it airborne. I'm happy if I can get it airborne and find it.
So you're not Mac.
I am not. I play 1/100th in the amount that Mac does. I played with Mac in college for 3 years.
Yeah,
he was here last year at the event. It was awesome to see him, and we used to play a lot of 2-man scrambles when we were in college. We'd go around those little golf courses around up there by Cedar Falls and play a lot of those. So I played a lot of golf with him a long time ago, though.
I wanted to ask you from an NBA standpoint. College basketball's changed so much over the last few years. It used to be these teams, the high-end teams, you wanted the one-and-done guys because that's where the top-end talent was, the lottery picks. It almost feels now like these teams are getting older and more rugged. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's more like a UFC fight than it is.
Yeah.
How does that impact you guys?
Well, I think obviously the NIL has changed the entire landscape, and I think there's probably several areas that it's done that in. One is a lot of these guys are making a pretty good living playing college basketball, so they're not leaving that environment because it's their job, right? So that's going to keep them in school, I think, a number of years and try to keep that job. So them working at their craft year after year. Not the reverse trend is happening. These guys that don't make the NBA going to Europe, reverse. All these young European guys are now coming to play college because they're getting paid more than they would be in Europe to play in U.S. colleges. So that has really strengthened the game. And again, those guys, even though they might be 18, 19, or 20, are just seem older, because they've been through a lot of more rugged practices and playing against older players, from a young age. I mean, we could go on, but the NIL has changed it quite a bit.
Does the second round of the draft is it a lot different now? Because it used to be we're just going to roll the dice on, but now it feels like there's all these 24-year-olds who you have a lot more tape on, and they're more developed. Do you think we're going to have more known commodities, I guess, in the second round of the draft? Does that even make sense where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I think here's my take on it. I think, first of all, you're right. I mean, we just went through a draft that seemed drastically different with
It seemed so different, Coach.
A lot of 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds.
You guys used to never want to touch those guys.
And I think you're right. They used to use the second round on flyers, super young guys, overseas guys, whatever. That's the first part of that equation. I think the second part is guys that are ready to play. which the older guys would be, and that can come in and play a role. I think, we just saw both the teams in the finals playing a lot of players, a lot of depth, a lot of role players, guys that can just come in, play hard, rebound, maybe make an open shot, can find their way on the floor. And I think a lot of these guys will be able to do that.
That's a great point. When you look at OKC and just their style of play.
Yeah. Indiana too. Yeah.
Yeah, Indiana too. I think of Tyrese, and he's certainly not rugged or that but yeah, they've got all those dudes surrounding him, who are just dogs.
He's amazing. I just saw him the other night. I saw him Saturday. I was at a wedding in Raleigh, North Carolina, and he and Harrison Barnes were both at the wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, one of my assistant coaches was getting married, and he'd worked with those guys when they were younger. Yeah.
The Harrison Barnes recruitment is one of the most drawn out stories that I've ever covered in my life. And then he goes to North Carolina and Max is heartbroken. And yeah. The other thing I wanted to pick your brain on is, so I'm a George Niang guy. He's probably my favorite Cyclone ever. Love him.
I'm smiling. I just was texting with him last night.
Oh, well, there you go. Because he just got traded again.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
I was with him at his foundation, and I always do some MC work for him.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
And he was so excited to play at Boston.
Yep.
And his mom was so excited. And then he gets traded last night, and my heart broke for them.
Yeah.
But I guess nobody, as good as we knew George was when he was here, he didn't scream like a decade-long NBA guy when you looked at his body. But it does feel, what is the value of a guy like George in your organization? Because he's just the impeccable teammate, right? Like, where do guys like that fit in the NBA going forward?
First of all, he's so good. I mean, he is so good. You can whatever. Like, if you want to look at his unathletic flaws, right? Go ahead. But there's about 9 other things that he does out there that just make him such a good player. First of all, the shooting is scary good now. I mean, it is like knocked down, hit his hands, it's gone. Like, he is hard. He's on the game plan. He's hard to game plan for, right? So he's just such a threat from the perimeter, and he's not totally just that. He can get, he can get you inside the line and put his body on you and throw some stuff up there that'll go in, right? So smart, so tough. Again, we'll have some bad possessions on defense, but isn't nearly as bad over the course of the game as those possessions might appear that he is defensively. He's pretty, again, physical, uses body good at positioning, certainly a great team defender. I got a lot of time. I really like him. I mean, he was on Philly when I got the job, right? Yeah. And I flew straight to Boston about 2 days after I got the job, and we went out to lunch, and, I was planning on him being back, and obviously he didn't. He got traded not long after that from us. Yeah,
he's one of those guys. It reminds me. I'm sorry for all the Iowa State stuff, but it's where my core is, and it reminded me of Brock Purdy when he got drafted to the 49ers, because it was like he didn't have a great senior season, but I think they kind of took a flyer on him because he's just a really good teammate. He's really smart, and at the very worst case scenario, he's going to be an impeccable third string quarterback to be on our scout team and help our defense. Like, I know in the college game how valuable that is. How big of a deal is that for you?
It's super big. And again, going back to just like the most current NBA season, I think you see like the teams that team that won it has Shea, who's that guy. He's just an incredible worker, incredible team connector, and then a great player on top of it, but does all the things right, as far as winning basketball and being a great teammate, great in the locker room, great leader. Then you got Tyrese. Who else you got? Rick Brunson, or Jalen Brunson. Rick is his dad. Jalen Brunson for the Knicks, right? And then, I just think that that's kind of a theme, that you can have a guy that you can rally around who will just care about winning and do all the things necessary and all the work necessary that winning entails. And I think it's super important. And same with Brock Purdy that you mentioned.
Well, Nick, it's been awesome to catch up with you. I have interviewed you, but it's been a long time. You were at the Iowa Energy the last time we did anything.
Thank God for the Iowa Energy, man.
I'll never forget the series when you guys won the title. Like I went to both. That was an incredible atmosphere.
Yes,
those games were so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell everybody I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you as the head coach of the Sixers without the Iowa energy. That's for sure. That was a tremendous turning point in my career.
Well, you wouldn't be without the God's country, Southwest Iowa. Do you consider Carroll Southwest, or are you guys just West?
Well, I think we get in the Southwest Iowa like rankings and things.
Yeah,
some of the newspapers and stuff. So yeah, I guess I've always kind of considered it because of that.
Well, best of luck this weekend. We're going to throw out all the links so people can contribute even if they can't be there. And this has been a lot of fun catching up with you.
Thank you for having me on.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Hey, go Sixers.
Let's do it.
I'm with you, brother.
All
Nick
right.
Nurse, head coach of the Sixers, back in Carroll for his big event this weekend. All right, there you go. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time. Love anyone from the 712. All love and respect to anyone from the 712. Repping the area code, baby. So I do want to hit on this. Last week, it happened late last week, where the NFL is now there. It's kind of like a merger of the NFL Network and ESPN. There's ownership that the NFL gets in Disney. Basically, ESPN is acquiring, as Aiden just put the NFL Network, and there's other like media assets that it gets. So like they went from being business partners like under contract to now actually in bed with one another. There's a journalism thing here where it's like if there's a say there's like a sex scandal in the office of the NFL, will ESPN be free to report on it? You question those things. But that's not what I'm going to focus on today. Like, I'm going to go big picture, because this morning when I woke up on Wednesday, the 6th of August, woke up to massive news that the WWE is moving its digital platform to ESPN starting in 2026. And I want to explain what I think ESPN is doing and what the executives at Disney are doing here. If you were to ask me, Chris, what are the two absolute most consistent, no-brainer, big audience forms of sports and sports entertainment, whatever, put it all into a bundle in the world? Really, or we'll say in the United States, because Premier League's in F1 or whatever. We'll say in the United States where ESPN operates. It's the NFL and it's WWE. And I don't want to hear it. The WWE's not a sport. Stop. It's not. You're thinking too small when you're yelling that. Don't think small. ESPN has just set itself up. So I think what they're doing here, they've let go of MLB. They are letting go of Formula One. They let go of NASCAR however many years ago. I think ESPN, what they're going to do, and they own the SEC. They are now into the megas and the super niche. Like, I still think they're going to have like, MAC games on Tuesday nights and stuff like that, but those don't cost them anything. Like, look at what they've done with their programming. So it's Pat McAfee, it's Stephen A. Smith. You really can't even name many other people other than like NFL Live who are personalities on ESPN. So they're going with the biggest personalities in the biggest sports, and they're basically ignoring the middle. I think this WWE thing is brilliant. Now, there are a couple of arguments. So what WWE brings to you is like this passionate legion of fans that and they watch like, so many hours of this entertainment throughout the week. But what like the casual may not understand is, so the WWE used to have these pay-per-views, right? We all watched them growing up. WrestleMania, you had to pay $50 to watch. Well, so then there was the WWE Network that you paid like $10 a month for, and you got all these pay-per-views, and it seemed like such a great deal for us. This is awesome. It's like $120 a year compared to what I used to spend on these pay-per-views. But then the WWE didn't have to split the pay-per-view buys with DirecTV and Dish Network, and they're making about the same money, and they keep it all internally. Well, then NBC Universal buys it, and it's been on Peacock for however many years. This is a big hit for them. Because the thing about the WWE people is they're going to go no matter what. Interesting here. So ESPN's straight to consumer piece is going to be about $30 a month. Pretty steep for like a WWE family, in all honesty. But people will pay it. I'll pay it. I don't really want to. I don't really want another streaming service. Just found out yesterday that the Big 12 is going to have basketball games on Peacock now. You're a Big 12 basketball fan, it's starting to be like the NFL, where you got to do all of this stuff. This isn't exactly great for the consumer, but what I'm seeing ESPN doing here is this is a sure thing. I would guess that the UFC will follow. I would guess that's the next big thing, because the WWE is now owned by TKO, which is the UFC as well. This is a pretty clear indication to me that they will bundle this in some capacity, and you're going to see the UFC stay with ESPN. But now it's like you do all the college sports, NBA presence, you have the NFL, and this $30 a month doesn't seem too bad if you're a WWE fan and you get all the sports on top of it. Problem is, for a family guy like me, I don't know, can I really cut out my YouTube TV? Kids want to watch, right? It's kind of, I don't know. I might have to make a switch to Hulu Live now, right? Like this is what they're doing, guys. Like they're all angling and positioning us to take in their streaming product compared to the other. The Red Zone thing with the NFL is huge. If I can watch NFL Red Zone on the ESPN app now, that saves me a lot of money. If I'm just a guy who does that, like I always buy the NFL package, but like it is, this kind of sucks for the consumer, the way it's all shaping up, because we got to keep, and the biggest thing that sucks beyond the money is that logistically it's just hard to flip around with all these apps, and that technology will come. But the biggest problem I see is like these tech companies don't want to play nice with one another, right? Like ESPN isn't really wanting Netflix to thrive, like their competitors. So what motivation do they have to be like, oh, let's make this seamless so you can go from ESPN to Netflix? They're not going to do that. Like something has to, I don't know where it goes. I don't know how it works. Fox and ESPN were working on something together for a while, and it blew up. But it's like, it's going to be really difficult to watch 4 games on a Saturday and flip it back and forth, right? And like, I know I'm starting to sound a little bit like a boomer here. Maybe I am a boomer here. But all in all, I think it's brilliant what Disney's doing. You let go of baseball, which is dying. It's not going to die. Don't take that literally, but it is like, as far as it's in a bad spot. If I were ESPN right now, I would heavily invest in probably the WNBA. Get it for cheap, and it's a rising sport. I would definitely put like more like softball, stuff like that is a ton of programming and it's on the rise and it mixes really well with your NFL. And again, like the WWE is not going to be on ESPN. Like, I don't think people understand that, but their whole library. So if you want to go back and watch Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3, you go to the ESPN app starting in 2026. It's where it all lives. So they're just acquiring content. And you have the NFL, you've probably got all of college football, and then the WWE fans might be the third biggest fan base in the country. I don't know where they stack up against the NBA as far but guys, you're talking millions upon millions upon millions of people. You're getting younger. There's kids that watch this. There's the old, it's a huge deal. And I don't watch it nearly as much as I used to. There's probably less because I just don't have time. Probably less into pro wrestling as I've ever been. But I understand its power. And ESPN is now in bed, lying there giving googly eyes with the NFL. Like, they are family now. And they strike this massive deal with the WWE. And I'm just guessing that the UFC's coming. Because I thought the UFC could end up on Netflix. That's still a possibility. WWE now has its flagship program on Netflix. But you go from the conversation about ESPN 3 months ago that, it's dying, nobody watches it anymore. The ESPN app during college basketball season is one of my favorite places to hang out. So they are working like it. I got to give them credit. Like, I know they get a lot of shit. But I got to give them credit. These are brilliant moves. We'll see how they pay out financially for them. How the stock does is a different conversation to how many people are watching. Like that, does it meet projections? All that stuff. I don't know. I'm not a stock advisor, but I'm just saying from a sports business analyst perspective, when I look at the moves that they've made, like, why stack it up compared to like the Peacock or the Paramount app? Now, like the Peacock just added Big 12 basketball. ESPN got the Red Zone and the WWE pay-per-views. Like, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. All right, that's all I got on it today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thanks to Nick Nurse, the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, for hopping on. We are presented by Steeple Ridge Bourbon in the Channel Seed Studios. Aiden Wyatt produced today's show, as always. And I'll be in Ireland next week. So probably won't get a pod next week, but we'll be back the week after that. And we will be ready to go for college football season. Later.